Our purpose is to build a holistic voice that creates a community of like-minded, healthy people for a healthier planet. Our goal is to unify the community, nourishing the growth in mind, body, spirit, awareness, and wellness. We want to engage our community and visitors so they have access to powerful momentum of the holistic presence in our community. We do this by creating awareness through interviews, providing education and awareness of cutting-edge modalities. We also provide access for consumers to quality natural health and wellness professional and practitioners and like-minded business that support this community. Thank you for listening with us on Healthy Planet One. Stay with us for the next interview with our next holistic guest.
Everyone, this month's focus is on embracing your gifts and growing your business. So this topic opens up multiple doors, and we've invited 4 guests to address their valuable viewpoints. So we invite you to listen in each week. So our guest this week, very interesting. I'm very excited to have her along with us, Karen FLAHERTY. She's a speaker, a consultant, and an author of a book which I've read part of. You're going to find it really interesting, the Certified Human Design Specialist. She's part of the Holistic Chamber on the other coast in Flagler Beach. She's been there since 2014, and she has a long corporate sales and marketing background as well. So Karen, tell us what is human design and how can it help a person kind of understand more about themselves?
Hey, Kimberly, thanks so much for having me. And I'd love to tell you more about human design. So it's about, it's really a combination actually of ancient systems and new systems. So it's based on the I Ching and it's a personality assessment tool that's based on the I Ching and the chakra system and in astrology, both Eastern and Western. And then on the modern side, we've got quantum physics, biogenetics, and mathematics. And you put those all together and we get a really great chart that shows you exactly what your skills and talents are and what's consistent in your energy and what's not. Because it's really, with human design, it's really all about energy. And that's why I really enjoy it, because the quantum physics part of it shows us where your energy is consistent and then where it's open, and the two together make up each of us. And so they're all unique. It's cool.
I love that we're talking about quantum physics quite a lot, right, Patricia? It's it seems to be like a really hot topic, and actually it really is going to be. And you know, Karen, I've been actually a very seasoned astrologer, although I only do it privately for about 30 years now. So I love how astrology gave me, basically it was my compassion to have people understand themselves better, and then to have more compassion and understanding for others. So how do you see that with human design?
In terms of, it's all about relationships, right? So my energy is different than your energy, is different than Patricia's energy. And so we each get to have our own energies. And you know how you just kind of are attuned to other people some ways, and that you really enjoy their company, and then other people not so much, right? So in human design, we can actually see where these connections occur. And so if somebody's open energetically in one part and the other one's got it defined, most likely they're going to have a connection, because they're going to kind of fill in each other. So it's about auras, it's about chakras, it's about the energy, but it's like, there's nothing wrong with us. In other words, if somebody doesn't have something filled in, it's not broken. It's just open. And so we look at the charts and we're able to put them together. And in terms of embracing the gifts, what we're able to see is that everybody's got specific skills and talents that are consistent for them, and that other things aren't. So for example, I do have an open will center, and that means I just don't have consistent willpower. Well, that's okay. Only 1/3 of the population actually has consistent willpower. But if you were to listen to all the motivational gurus, you would think all of us should have willpower, right? We all have ways of making decisions. And we make ourselves wrong, and we spend a lot of money trying to get that will center, right? But I can go to all the Tony Robbins seminars I want to, and I'm never going to have a defined will center. So it saves you a lot of money once you know what's consistent in your energy and then what's not.
That's amazing, Karen. And I wanted to ask you, you say you create charts out of looking at the I Ching, chakras, auras, quantum physics. That sounds a lot like a lot of elements. Is this all like a computer program, or how does this all come together?
Well, fortunately, it is a computer program now, Patricia. At the beginning, it wasn't. And I should say human design's been around since 1987, so it did predate computers. They used to do them by hand. Now, fortunately, there is a computer program, and it's real simple. It's based on birth information. So all I need to know is your name, your birth time, your date, and your location, and then we're good to go. And you can do that at my website.
Is it way more than astrology?
Well, it's I love astrology myself, and I've used astrology a lot in the past, but it is a lot more specific than astrology in terms of being able to show you, for example, the 64 gates that you either have or you don't, which are from the I Ching, which centers are open or not, that's from the chakra system. And so, yeah, there's a lot more detail to it. I mean, I like to say that I could sit for 10 hours on the beach with a margarita and tell people about their charts for all day long.
That sounds like fun. So, I know astrology, the way that I've looked at your stuff, what I love is that the two kind of modalities give you such a bigger picture, a rich picture of yourself. Astrology in itself is used for timing, and I do a lot of timing stuff and esoteric stuff to show you where you're on your path. But timing is huge with astrology. But this is so powerful to get to know yourself at such a deep and full and interesting level. It can't help but raise your self-esteem.
Mm-hmm. So Karen, let me ask you, so from the ancient, I get that. From the modern side, quantum physics, bioenergetics, and how does that play a role? What are the aspects that you're looking at there, and how do you look at those aspects?
Well, I don't actually look at those aspects, Patricia, but they come embedded in the chart. So basically, when you're born, the elements of quantum physics that we're looking at in terms of the neutrino streams, what was occurring at the time of your birth and what occurred 3 months prior, which we call your design, that's what we're looking at. So whatever planets were in play at the moment of your birth and then 3 months prior, that's what we look at on the chart. And that's how the quantum physics comes in. And then the biogenetics, I can tell a lot from the chart with regard to your health makeup, and your health prospects in terms of either living your passion or not.
That's great.
And then the mathematics is all of that.
There's a lot of math in it.
Well, astrology is all
not
math.
That we have to be, that we don't have to know it, but it's there.
No, I think it's important because you can get the layperson who's not into astrology and not into all this what has been called woo woo, and that's changing. We know that. Yeah. But what I love about how quantum physics and we deal with the bioenergetic systems that Kimberly and I have been working with, and so it's as a practitioner for me, I know of the last 20 years what I have felt with my clients, but when it's actually put in scientific terms, it connects the dots intellectually, so that I'm able to verify it in that way. So I'm seeing that where we are, like you said, this started in 1987, but where we are in today's world in the 2000 almost 20, we're looking at really where science has really come together with the ancient knowledge that was already there. We're just able to explain it for the linear thinking mind. But what you're talking about is really a holistic sort of thought process that goes in to this work that you're doing with the human design. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. It's a very holistic approach, and it's almost, to be honest, a little too holistic for some people. What I find, the people who are interested in human design at this point are the early adopters, who I'm sure you're working with as well, and also the contrarians, right? People who don't quite get how things work the way they say they're supposed to work culturally, and this is a different way of looking at things. I had a client this weekend who said, it's not so much that you answered my questions, but what you did was you confirmed a lot of the things I needed to know. And I was like, well, so I guess that's okay. And she said, oh my God, that's more than okay. She said, where else would I have found this information to confirm what I suspected all my life?
Right. Yeah, that's all part of it. Yeah, I know that from doing consultations. So quantum physics, what we have to realize is that even quantum physicists can't really explain it. I mean, quantum physicists doing studies on how the planet Venus communicates with us here on Earth, being our sister planet. and how the heart actually responds to nature. That's all quantum physics.
Right.
We can't see it. So the lay person questions what they can't see, but it's there. It always has been there and always will be there. So bringing this out is so rich in just the wonderment and just being in wonder of the universe and nature and everything else. So having a reverence, right?
Yeah, and yet Kimberly still being able to see it, and that was the other piece my client said. So I said because she said I'm not only confirming it, but I trust you. And I said, why do you trust it? And she said, it's because I can see it on the chart.
Yeah.
Right. Because everything's colored in.
Yeah.
It's the chart. It's an actual chart. So so it explains it at a much deeper level for people.
It's great.
And I also like to say that really I haven't needed to see, I should knock wood, a psychotherapist since I found out about human design, because every answer I need is in the chart.
Oh, that is beautiful. So let's take that into just for our purposes, and the focus we have this month is for businesses, for people building their businesses. So translate what you've given me a good foundation. Thank you so much for that, Karen. So translate that into how that works effectively. If you're just getting started in business, or you're in business and you're plateaued, how does that play a role?
Okay, so here's my recipe, Patricia, for building a business with human design. Sorry, I should say not with human design, but with human design helping you to build a business, right? So first we find out your purpose, right? Your life's purpose, your what we also call the incarnation cross, which is the story of your life if you're living out your strategy, and then how to use your decision-making strategy, because each of us has a unique decision-making strategy, which goes with each of the 5 energy types. And so from the chart, you'll be able to get your decision-making strategy. Once we have that, then basically, because we can see your chart, we can also handle the relationships in your life so that, and I say handle in quotes, because some relationships need to stay, some need to get better, and some just need to go. And it's a lot clearer with human design, which is which, right? And then the third part is to follow your strategy to make the decisions that you need to make in your business, and to also take care of yourself, right? Because I personally believe that self-care is a big part of what holds a lot of us back, especially as women, right? Because if we don't take care of ourselves, the business is not going to survive. It's not going to thrive if we don't take care of ourselves, so that we can do it for another 20 or 30 years, right? But you also need to handle the relationships so that you're creating boundaries with your family, with your friends, with whomever, with your business partner. Oh, and by the way, we can put 2 business partners together to see if they and how they work together. I've done that successfully with a number of people, and their businesses are thriving, and that's really comforting.
Karen, can you give us an example of somebody you've worked with that you've taken them through this, and what's been the results?
So, for example, just the past few months, I've been working with 2, a 30-year-old and a 50-year-old who are in Australia, and they're starting a business together because I talked with both of them, and of course they were taking, and then they decided to start a business together. So they now have a series of workshops for men called Hearts of Men, and they're bringing the men together in the workshop and helping them to find out about their human design, but also how to work together and how to bring out their emotions in a much more loving and compassionate way with their friends and family. And so that their business is really growing, and I know it's growing because they keep sending me clients. And that's a nice thing, right? Because they want them to know about their human design. So that's just one example.
That's fantastic. Tell me more about Care Self, because that's number one what I'm looking at this month, and it's I know that it's something that when we get really involved in, a business is growing, it's successful, and it drops out. How do you address that to people?
Well, because what I find is that according to your chart, there's usually a really most optimal way for you to eat and sleep and exercise, right? And so it's not the same for everybody. I'm not going to try, I don't try and diagnose, but I can certainly guide you to find the way that's best for you. And most of us know it kind of intuitively, but we don't do it. So either it's getting to the ways that you should be doing that, or it's finding the blocks for why you're not doing it, right? So both of those we can see in the chart, and that's where we start from.
So it actually finds your blocks. I love it. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. I mean, I utilize astrology, and I have for